There we go. Hello, good morning everyone. Sky/Mike is here, and let's start off by finishing this case, because I wanted to do it last night, but I didn't have the time. Or the energy. Alright. Good morning, Mr. Wright! Good morning, Maggie! So, what do you think is going to happen today, sir? Yesterday's session didn't go so well and ended on a giant mystery. Well, that's true. We still haven't solved a single part of it yet. Are you okay, Nick? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I saw that little flash of doubt in your eyes. No, that wasn't doubt, that was, determination. Yes. Well, I believe you. It's nearly time, Maggie. You better get going to the defendant's seat. Roger, don't let me down, Mr. Wright. I'm counting on you. Hey, pal. Hey, Detective Gumshoe. Quit stressing Maggie out. She doesn't need that. How'd you know she was stressed? I was watching through the doorway. Oh. You look like you lost the case already. Show a bit of confidence, will you, pal? Here, maybe this'll help. Huh? Are you taking up aromatherapy, too? Not in a million years, pal. Don't tell me that you don't remember this thing. Come on, think of it. Hey, that's the green bottle from the kitchen. That doesn't look like any of those aromatherapy bottles. This is the small bottle that turned up in Trey Bien's kitchen a couple days ago. Wow, look at all these little bottles. Oh, they're aromatherapy oils. He's got so many they're overflowing onto the floor. Hey, wait a minute. There's one bottle that's different from all the others. Well, what do you know? And it doesn't have a label either. And it doesn't smell. Finally got the analysis results back from the lab. So? What is it? Is it the poison? I'm afraid not, pal. It's medication. Medication? Oh, yeah. For ears. Topical use only, apparently. For ears? You mean... Yeah, it's the medication Glenn Elg was using for his ruptured eardrum. What was Glenn Elg's ear medicine doing in the kitchen? What about the unidentified fingerprints? Anything on that? Someone screwed up, so they only had time to analyze the contents of the bottle. Another hour, and they might have gotten something on the prints, but that's going to weaken its impact as a piece of evidence. Okay, pal, this is it. Make sure your defense is impregnable today, got it? Today's trial. I'm gonna expose that guy for what he's done, or my name isn't Phoenix Wright. It's Zeno! There we go. Rabble, 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 rabble. Court is now in session for the trial of Maggie Bird. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Ready and waiting as always, Your Honor. Very good. Then we'll get underway at once. Yesterday we heard the testimony of Mr. Victor Kudo. He claims to have witnessed the defendant putting a powder in the victim's coffee. However, the witness's testimony was plagued with a number of problems. The mark on the rim of the cup shows that the victim drank it from his right hand, but according to the old man's testimony, he picked it up with his left hand. Thank you, Mr. Goto. Furthermore, according to the witness's account, the victim was listening to the radio with an earpiece in his left ear. Yet, the victim's left eardrum was ruptured, which made him effectively deaf in that ear. It's amazing how many contradictions a single case can have, huh, Nick? Glug, glug, glug. Heh. Allow me to enlighten you, Your Honor. The world, you see, keeps turning, and we must turn with it. That's good coffee. You lost me already, Mr. Goto. Don't let the mysteries of yesterday mystify you today. Only losers think like that. You've got to change with the times. That's one of my rules. I smell a catchphrase. Are you implying you resolve these contradictions? You know the answers to the riddles? The old guy wasn't just throwing seed in here. He was throwing us off the scent. And today I'll prove it. Very well, let the first witness take the stand. Mr. Armstrong. And you are? Oh, bonjour, everyone. I am Jean Armstrong, the owner and head chef at La Très Bien Restaurant. Enchanté. Forgive me for asking, witness, but are you a woman? Oh la la, monsieur. As you can see, I am le pert and perky gentleman, no? On the day of the incident, you were in Trebian's kitchen. Isn't that right? With you, monsieur. Everything feels right. Wow, he's totally unfazed. Doesn't anything intimidate this guy? Very well, your testimony please, witness. Tell the court what happened that day in Trebien. Oui, volontiers. Alright. What have you got? When it all happened, there was just 2 customers in my restaurant. I remember I was experimenting with some new art decos that day, like having a large mirror between the tables, for example. Oui, perhaps that is what the old man was looking at. La cup, la earpiece, and la glasses. He would have seen everything in reverse, no? A mirror? Oui, un grand mirror, la most enormous mirror. Oh, no gavel? And suddenly the mystery disappears. Like I said, the world keeps turning, so roll with it. That would explain the coffee cup and the earpiece conundrum. The mirror would have made everything appear back to front. What the heck? It's way too early in the morning for this to be happening to me. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Should I? Should I really? When it all happened... Oh. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Or that. We'll see how this is evidence. The coffee cup, the earpiece, and the HMD. Let's think back over Mr. Kudo's testimony for a second, shall we? That boy was wearing an earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. So, to summarize, we were told both the HMD and the earpiece were on the victim's left side. Now, if Mr. Kudo saw it as a reflection in the mirror, it means both the HMD and the earpiece were actually on the victim's right side. Exactement. You see, monsieur, now that you think about it, it is not so hard, no? Unfortunately, that's where we run into a monumental contradiction with the facts. If Mr. Kudo really did see everything in the mirror, why is it that the HMD is now on the wrong side of his head? Order, order! Mr. Wright is correct. If the witness genuinely observed the victim reflected in a mirror, then we would expect the victim's eyepiece to have been over his right eye. How bitter. Trite, you should have a taste of this bitterness. It'll calm you down in no time. Are we talking about your coffee? Or something completely different? My fist! You don't understand the way the witness thinks. How he thinks? You remember this, I presume. The I broke the vase, sorry, apology, Mr. Kudo's sworn testimony? Exactly. The old man has one very grievous habit, other than throwing seeds. The more of an impression something makes, the more muddled his mind makes it. And what's the most striking thing about Mr. Elg? Clearly, it's the victim's eyepiece. And that's my point. The old man strikes again. Mr. Elg's HMD made a big impression on the old man. I saw the earpiece and those newfangled spectacles he was wearing. Oh yes, they were both on his left ear. Do you hear? His left ear! Well, Trite. That's the worst but best impression of Kudo ever. Well, I really thought he was on C for a minute there. God, it was good. Enough! I must agree that yesterday's witness was irresponsibly rash in much of his testimony. Bad luck, Nick. Looks like the boil of the contradiction you found is just a rash. A mirror can't be beaten by a handful of seeds, nor can it lie. So, what exactly was the old man looking at? Fill us in, Mr. Armstrong. Go on, tell the court. We're all ears. Oui, I can explain. Please, if you will look at the plans of the restaurant. Oh, we're not gonna see. Okay. Alors, is everyone sitting comfortably? La mirror, it was in the middle of the restaurant, dividing into two halves. There is only one seat from which you could have seen an image of the victim. That was the seat at the table next to the victims. That was where the old man was sitting. After the terrible incident occurred, I moved the mirror so it was not in the way. But naturally, I did not touch anything else. I see no problems with the explanation we have just heard. From the table next to the victims, Mr. Kudo could have seen the victim in the mirror. What a naughty little coquette I am, confusing all the men like this. Don't worry about it. We can keep up, except for the guy breaking out in a cold sweat over there again. Ah, I hate that guy. He said he didn't touch anything else apart from the mirror. Are you quite sure about that? Volonté, of course. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please. And do not break into a cold sweat. Just to be sure, because I have absolutely no idea. There we go. That'll do it. Let's see. No. 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 Wait. Maybe. Hold on. Maybe this? I didn't think so. Let's try again. How about unnaturally? Wait, let's press it first just to make sure. Are you sure about that? I touched nothing except the mirror. Mr. Wright, is something in the window said it doesn't match the crime scene? Yeah, there is. I just can't put my finger on what exactly. Ha! Suffering from a case of heartburn, Troy? Oh, I have just the thing for that. An oil with golden myrrh and frankincense. Add a few drops to your coffee and voila! Enjoy. Focus, Phoenix. Breathe. I just need to ignore those two and find some evidence. It is pretty strange though, isn't it? I mean, nobody mentioned anything about a really large mirror. You'd think someone would have, but Maggie didn't, and neither did old Stevie. The only logical explanation is there was no mirror inside Trilogy that day. Now I've just got to prove it. Somehow. I ask you, what mirror? Please? No. I don't think so. Let's go back to I did not touch anything else. And that didn't do anything. Alright, fine. I'll look. Wait a minute. It's a photo. No, the mirror was somewhere else. Ah, I had a right statement, but alright, fine, I'll just take the blow. Ah! wasn't there either. My day is perfectly fine. I see no problem with the witness's statement. Alright. It has to be right here. With the crime photo. Bingo! This piece of evidence contradicts with the testimony we have heard, Your Honor. The crime photo? Oh, the mirror's in the wrong spot. The photo clearly shows something that theoretically should not exist. What on earth do you mean by that, Mr. Wright? Should not exist? Sounds like you're describing yourself, trite. Now then, if the defense would please clarify the statement. What is the something that should not exist in this photo? Would it be this mirror? This is what should not be in the picture. I'm sorry? I'm afraid you lost me. I suppose it's up to me to clarify the defense's claim. The something that shouldn't exist is clearly... Wait. I'll change my mind, Your Honor. The last thing I need right now is a scalding hot coffee shower. Just make sure so I don't fuck up. Bingo. Very well. Gather your thoughts, Mr. Wright. In the meantime, the witness will repeat his testimony for the court. I would be delighted. Now I just gotta find the right part. What should not exist? What should not exist then? Oh! This vase, right? Because the old man knocked it over. I think it's pretty obvious this is what should not be in the picture. The vase? What possible connection does that have with the witness's testimony? Your Honor, I'm telling you that there should have been no vase on the table. Because it very clearly contradicts with this piece of evidence. Oh, I get it. When the incident occurred, I broke the vase in my seat. I'm sorry. Here it is. There is one thing that was clearly demonstrated by yesterday's testimony. Mr. Kudo broke the vase that was on the table where he was sitting. And yet, as the court can see, there is an unbroken vase on the table next to the victim. Why? Because Mr. Kudo was not in fact sitting at the table next to the victim at all. Don't be an idiot, trite. That's impossible. The seat's the only one Kudo could have seen the victim's reflection from. Exactly. There is only one conclusion we can draw from this contradiction. There was no mirror in Trebien that day. Your testimony, Mr. Armstrong, is an elaborate lie. Mon Dieu! Don't try to confuse the court, trite. Obviously, the witness cleaned up the vase. While the police were taking their time getting to the crime scene. Unfortunately, Mr. Godot, that doesn't quite work for me. Mr. Armstrong already testified to the contrary. In his own words, I did not touch anything else except the mirror. Well, witness, what do you have to say for yourself? I was right. There was no mirror in the restaurant that day. In light of their elevation, we return back to the original problem. Why did the victim have an earpiece in the ear which he couldn't hear? You only get one shot in life. There's no turning back. If you want to claim that the mirror wasn't there, trite, then this problem is all yours. Just making sure. How do you explain what the old man saw? If I can answer this, then they'll be that much closer to the truth. I can feel it. Are you going to be okay? Can you really solve this contradiction, Nick? There's more than just this one contradiction, Maya. What do you mean? Remember what Maggie told us? There was another man at the victim's table, and there was a sample CD on the victim's table. It all flies into the face of Mr. Kudo's testimony. And I think I know the reason why nothing in this case is adding up. Well, Mr. Wright, let's hear your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The reason behind all the contradictions in Mr. Kudo's testimony is simple. Mr. Kudo made a mistake? Or the ear doctor made... Hold on. Clearly, Mr. Kudo made a mistake. Mr. Trite, you're the one who brought up all these contradictions, and... if you're trying to tell us the old man just made a mistake, we can wrap this case up right now with a guilty verdict. How about it, Mr. Wright? Should I just declare your client guilty? Is that the best you can come up with, Nick? Well, it's obviously not that. Could it be... the ear doctor made a mistake? I believe we're looking at this the wrong way. It is actually the doctor's mistake. What? Yes, the doctor got the wrong ear. Well, I believe we saw an autopsy report yesterday. One that stared at the victim's left eardrum was... No, it wasn't that. So the victim was a phony? This case is riddled with contradictions. Yet, there is one very simple answer that clears them all up. And what is that? The incident Mr. Kudo witnessed and the incident the victim experienced were two completely different events. What? Yes, the victim that Mr. Kudo saw wasn't Glenn Elg at all. It was an imposter. A phony pretending to be Mr. Elg. Obviously, unlike the victim, there is nothing wrong with the imposter's left ear. Oh. That's how he ended up wearing the earpiece in his left ear by mistake. Glug, 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 glug. Order in the court. Settle down or I'll clear the courtroom. Quiet, Gramps. Why don't you clear out of here, huh? What did you say? Trite, are you saying that what Mr. Kudo saw was a setup? Yes. Someone pretended to be Glenn Elg and acted out the whole coffee poisoning. All for the express purpose of creating a witness out of one Mr. Victor Kudo. Get real, Trite. Why would anyone want to do that? Isn't it obvious? The thing Mr. Kudo was most insistent about in the testimony was... the servant girl brought him a Giovacchino, but she put something in it. That's the serving girl, right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well. It's so hard to believe, but... there was one and only one reason to show Mr. Kudo this fake poisoning. To show Maggie Bird in the act of poisoning the coffee. Are you insinuating that the waitress in the old man's story was a fake as well? It's true there were no other customers in the restaurant at that time, but... it's also true that the chef was there. He would have noticed what was happening. That's right. Well, witness, if your restaurant really was the scene of such theatrics, you would have known about it, correct? Oh la la, this is most difficult for me. No, it's quite simple. All you have to do is testify. You are under oath after all. Was there, in fact, a phony at Trebian that day? The defense demands that Mr. Armstrong tell the whole truth about what happened. The defense's request for additional testimony is accepted. You will accurately explain in detail the events of the restaurant that day. Oh, oui. The victim, Monsieur Elg, he came to my restaurant alone. I remember the old man arrived not long after him. There were no other customers. When he got word he won the lottery, Mon Elg became very excited. Ah! It was approximately 5 minutes later that the poisoning incident occurred. No, there's no time for a phony to do the acting. Just so we're clear, there were no mirror in the restaurant after all. Je vous demande pardon. Forgive me, Your Honor. I lied because I wanted this mess to be cleared up quickly. What you have just done is commit perjury, Mr. Armstrong. I will decide how to punish you later. Oui. For now, we will hear your cross-examination. Mr. Wright, if you please. He took the perjury charge a bit too well. I'm guessing he'll be in more serious trouble after his cross-examination. Alright. In the restaurant. Let's see. Absolutely not a robot. Not only after him. By old man, you mean Victor Kudo, correct? Oui, he comes often for my special coffee. I drank your coffee once, Mr. Armstrong. It's special, I'll give you that. It's worth a sip just for the experience. Oh, you make me so happy, monsieur. You are most welcome any time. I said it was worth one sip, and nothing more. So Mr. Kudo arrived at the restaurant around the same time as the victim. Maybe I should ask about his arrival in more detail. What time was it? Out of curiosity, about what time was it when Mr. Kudo arrived? Oh no, I cannot remember, monsieur. I believe we were told by a witness yesterday. The crime was reported at 2:25 p.m. by a kind of scary old man, sir. Does that perhaps jog your memory, witness? The incident happened about 20 minutes after you arrived, so the victim must have arrived between 2 p.m. and 2:10, no? Just after 2, huh? Thank you for your help in jogging my memory, monsieur. You are wonderful. I can't sit here all the time and do nothing now, can I? The time of day will be added to the witness's testimony. Oui, monsieur judge. Everything I do it for you. Merci bien. That's French, isn't it? I'm glad at least one person's in a good mood. He's even humming a song to himself. The old man arrived not long after him, just after 2 p.m. Wait a minute. But how could he have won the lottery? Ha! I'm afraid I finally got you, Mr. Armstrong. Quoi? What do you mean? At the time in question, the victim was listening to the radio with his earpiece. The show he was listening to was Millionaire Radio. Each week, they announced the winning numbers of a $500,000 lottery ticket. Oui, that must be the show Monsieur Elg was listening to. I can't see any problem with this testimony, Mr. Wright. I wonder. You say the victim arrived at your restaurant after 2 p.m., correct? Oui, I am sure of it. I remember it perfectly now. I know it was that time because I had just finished serving the lunch menu. Get to the point, Trite, if you have one. The show is broadcast live at 1:30 p.m., and it claims to be the most thrilling 10 minutes of your life. It's on the air at 1:30? Now, supposedly, the victim made some noise when it was announced that he had won. And yet, I don't believe his cry of joy could have occurred after 2 p.m. Because the show had already finished more than 30 minutes earlier by that point in time. No! The victim we've been told about had done nothing but the impossible. Listening to the radio with a ruptured eardrum, catching a show that was already over, there is only one conclusion he can draw from these facts. The victim was an imposter, acting out the poisoning 30 minutes after a real murder. Yes, there were 2 Glen Elgs in Trebien that day. The real Glen Elg, now dead, having been poisoned by the real killer, and the phony Glen Elg acting out the events of Mr. Kudo to witness. It certainly seems that way. I mean, if that wasn't the case, how can you explain the time discrepancy? Quite a performance, Trite. You were almost on a roll. But sadly, you lack the rock-hard foundation of rhythm to build your song. What is this, Music Theory 101? Let's recap. According to your imaginative theory, it's now just after 2 p.m. The phony elk is performing a play for the benefit of Mr. Kudo. How do you explain then where the real Glen Elg is? I don't believe I have to spell this out for the court. However, at the time, the real Glen Elg was already dead. That's certainly the obvious conclusion. Thank you, Trite. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. What? Now, I presume you can prove this theory of yours. Can you explain where the missing corpse went to? Just making sure. The missing corpse? According to the old man's testimony, there were only one other customer in there. If that customer was the phony Glenn Eld, then where did the killer hide the body of the real victim? Nah! The prosecution is a valid point, Mr. Wright. If your theory is to stand up to examination by the court, you must provide us with proof by answering the prosecution's question. Where did the killer hide the body? Yes, Your Honor. No conjecture, Wright. Let's hear some facts for once. Show the court a piece of evidence that proves where the body was hidden. Evidence? What's with the intense pressure in here all of a sudden? I thought I had him with that contradiction. But he's turned it all around and backed me into a corner instead. Well, Mr. Wright, the court will now hear the defense's theory and evidence. First, where was the body of the real Mr. Eld concealed? It had to have been outside? Oh, inside. It'd have to be too dangerous to take the body outside. Obviously, the body must have been hidden somewhere inside Trilogy. Interesting. But where could a body have been hidden inside a restaurant? Perhaps you'd care to show the court on the plans, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The exact location where the body was concealed inside Trilogy is the kitchen. The body was hidden here. I see. Nice supposition, but the real question is, can you back it up? Where's the evidence that proves the body was hidden in that location? The medication? Mr. Armstrong, do you recognize this bottle? No. I've never seen that ugly bottle before in my life. I only use the very best bottles, monsieur. The highest quality only for me. Where was that bottle found, Mr. Wright? Interestingly enough, Your Honor, it was found in the kitchen of Trilogy. Eh? Quoi? But I only ever use these bottles for my aromatherapy oils. But this bottle doesn't contain aromatherapy oil, Mr. Armstrong. No, it contains a medication. What kind of medication? I'm sure everyone remembers, don't they? That Mr. Eld visited an otolaryngological clinic and was given medication that day. You can't be serious. The defense had the contents of the bottle analyzed, and I have the lab results right here. The contents of the bottle matched the prescription that was given to Mr. Eld. Glenn Eld's murderer hid the body in the restaurant kitchen, at which time this bottle fell out of the victim's pocket. Mr. Armstrong, when the incident occurred, didn't you say you were in the kitchen? Mon Dieu! Yes, you know what I'm trying to say. It was you who hid the victim's body. You did a fine job pretending to defend my client, Maggie Bird. However, you were setting her up to take the fall behind the poor girl's back. No! Order! Order! This is an extraordinary development. Witness, did you murder Glenn Eld? Never! I could not do such a horrible thing. No! Mr. Godot? The bitterness. Every time I get lied to, I always down a mug of coffee. That's one of my rules. Do you have the slightest idea how many cups you've had by now? And I'd like to do the same to the person who lied to me. I'd like to take them down with my empty cup. Listen up, chef. How about a brand new flavor in your ear, my H-deficient friend? Je vous demande pardon. Please, you must hear me out. It is a trap. Listen to me. Por favor. Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is... Yo hablo español, Mr. Armstrong, and por favor is Spanish. I'm only going to ask you once. Did you do it? No, absolutely no. Let's hear it. You've got one shot, right, Gramps? Witness, the court will permit you the chance to make one final statement. If you lie under oath again, Mr. Godot's coffee mug awaits you, as does my gavel. Oui, it is clear. What do they always say in the movies? I've got a bad feeling about this. Very well. Begin your final testimony, Mr. Armstrong. It's true. I hit Labati in the kitchen. A man forced me to do it. I had no choice. I had to go along with him because there is a reason why I could not refuse. But I did not kill him. I swear it. You must believe me. You were forced? I cannot say, or I will be erased. Let's try a different question then. When Mr. L died, was he really the only person at this table? There was. There was another man. I knew it. Maggie was telling the truth. You may cross-examine the witness now, Mr. Wright. There's just one more thing I need to do. I gotta break this guy and get him to tell us the name of the real killer. The man forced me to do it. What man? Who was he? No, I cannot say. I fear for my life. He's really scared. You'll just have to put the words into his mouth, Nick. Yeah, you're right. If he won't tell me, I'll tell him. But why would you go along with this man? Wait, you mean this? Oh, fuck. That was not what I wanted to do. This man? Let's end this dance of ring around the rosy, Mr. Armstrong. This is the man that you've been referring to. Ah! Who is that? I feel like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a month ago in this very courtroom. This man is Furio Tigre. He's the manager of a loan office called Tender Lender. There's no point trying to hide the truth anymore, Mr. Armstrong. I know you couldn't go against Mr. Tigre. At least, not while he had this on you. The loan contract. A $500,000 loan from the black market loan shark. And you had no way of paying it back, did you? That's why you were forced to do anything this man told you. Oui, it is as you say. Mr. Armstrong, La Tiger. He told me he was going to use my restaurant for a business rendezvous. On the day in question, he was meeting La victim to demand that he repay his loan. I don't know why it happened like that. I just did what he told me to do. I had no choice. I carried the body and let inconscient Maggie out of the dining area and into the kitchen. After that, I just tried to forget what I had seen. I think we can now safely say that the man who forced your hand was Mr. Furio Tigre. I do have one further question for you, Mr. Armstrong. The poison and the lottery ticket were found in the defendant's apron pocket. Was that your doing as well? No, I knew nothing about that. Making it look like it was Maggie who had done it. I was not. It is despicable. Mr. Goto, you will summon the Furio Tigre as a witness. I doubt that can be arranged today, so we will adjourn for now. Proceedings will continue tomorrow. "30 minutes. What? The trial will go on. I'll see to it myself. I need half an hour to get that guy on the stand. Not a minute more. Hold up. Don't sit back and relax yet, trite. No one knows if that chef is really telling the truth or not. This trial could still go either way." Very well. Your request is granted, Mr. Goto. We will resume once Mr. Tigre is ready to take the stand. Until then, the court is adjourned for a 30-minute recess. Alright, so we will save, but we're not going to stop there. Alright.
So we're finally going to see the tiger on the stand. We've almost got this case won now, Nick.
I wish I could agree.
Huh?
When I cross-examined Mr. Armstrong just now, he said he was just doing what the tiger told him to do. But Godo picked up on it, remember? He pointed out that without proof, we don't know what is testified as the truth.
You mean you think Mr. Armstrong was lying?
I don't know, but if that's the line the prosecution takes, we could be in trouble. Get the feeling we don't have the case making evidence we don't need. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe!
What are you so jumpy about, Detective? Your hair's standing on end.
It ends upon calling the kettle black, little Miss Topknot.
It's not a top knot!
Never mind about the hair. Just calm down, alright? I can't stand still when I don't have a job to do. I kind of get wound up. No kidding. You gotta have something you need me to do, pal. Anything. Hey, I'm gonna take a jog back down to the precinct. I could get some prints analyzed for you if you got an hour. An hour? The trial will reconvene by then.
But Nick, we still don't have a really decisive piece of evidence, right?
True. Without some kind of trump card to pull out the bag, we're really stuck. You said you could get some fingerprint analysis done in an hour? You bet. In that case, would you mind checking the prints on this for me? The bottom. If you're going back to the station anyway, could you find out whose prints are on this? Oh, hey, that's the small bottle I gave back to you this morning, right? Yeah, I think it's time we solve the last mystery of who the prints on it belong to. Sure thing, pal. Actually, that's been lying at me, too. Giving a gumshoe. Okay, I'll get this off to the lab right away. Just make sure you don't lose the case before I get back. Well, this is pretty much the final showdown, I guess.
It's time to separate the phonies from the real guys.
And court will now reconvene. Mr. Godo, did you find this Furio Tigre? I even tamed him for you. It was a 3-cup job, no problem. Tamed him? The guy's name may be Furio Tigre, but come on. He's pretty lively. Be careful. He still bites. Very well. Please show Mr. Tigre to the stand. Witness? Please state your name and occupation. Ah! And she's out. Don't hide under the table, Maya. Unless there's room for me down there, too. What'd you say to me? Nothing. I didn't say nothing, honest. Who could have guessed that fear would induce a bad Brooklyn accent in the judge? I got business to take care of, you hear me? So who the hell called me into this hole? Was it you, Spiky? No, of course not. It was the judge. And he's gone. Your Honor? Oh dear. I seem to have dropped my pen. What on earth is that? Don't mind me, just carry on the proceedings as normal. That's it. We're doomed. Maybe you didn't hear me. I said, who the hell was it that called me in here? There's no need to shout. We can all hear you. What'd you say? There's no point struggling. You're caught in the snare. The relentless snare of the law. And I'm the one that hauled you in. Too cool.
Don't let him get the better of you, Nick.
Let's start with the basics. You know about the incident in question, correct? Incident? I don't know nothing about no stinking incident, masked boy. You mean you didn't attend a previous trial of Maggie Bird? Maggie who? I got more important things to do than watch courtroom dramas. Of course. Well, perhaps you could give us your testimony then. Please tell us about what you did on the day of the murder. Huh. Phoenix, right. You was the one who set this up, didn't you? You was gonna regret the day you ruffled the tiger's fur. You hear what I'm saying? Maybe I should have brought a diaper with me today.
Get a grip, Nick!
You want to talk, Maya? You're still under the desk, and Judge, get down from the floor. I don't know nothing about no murder. I was tied up with business in December last year. Spent all of my time in my office. I got whales lined up to borrow cash from tender lender every single day. You want to check my alibi? Just ask for a letter. Oh, there you are, Judge. At last I found my pen. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination... Ah! What is it? Please witness, if you could refrain from shouting out like that. I know the kind of games that guy in the blue plays. That lowlife ain't no lawyer. He just punches away in stupid details till he wins. Lowlife? Me? Listen up, smarty. Every time you ask me something that don't relate to this case, I'm gonna bill you $50,000, and you're gonna borrow the cash from me. That's one loan contract I refuse to sign. And don't think it ain't gonna hurt when you tangle with the tiger. I love a good spectator sport. Just a minute. That's really nice witnesses. How can I put it? A hungry tiger roaming the urban jungle. Get on his bad side and he'll bite everyone's heads off. Yours too. Very well. I have no choice but to impose a penalty system here. You better be listening. I said I got business to take care of. Big business. I don't split now. I ain't gonna catch my bus. But you have a scooter. Oh, that's right. It's broken. The court will impose a penalty for any irrelevant pressing of witness testimony. Keep that in mind as you begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You can do it, Nick! Get down from the floor, Maya! Come on from where you, Maya. No, she refuses. So I gotta even be careful if I even press, or else I'm penalized. Hold on. Are you sure about that? We're talking about 1 month ago, you know. You see these teeth? That's how sharp my secretary is. Sharp? Is he talking about Viola Cadaverini? She writes everything in my schedule. December, mainly in the office. That's what it says, so that's where I was. That sounds like a rather, sketchy schedule. Grrr. There he goes again. What the tiger did all December isn't the issue. What's important is what he was doing on the day of the murder, so now what? Mr. Tiger, what do you want? If you wouldn't mind going into a bit more detail. This is a dead end, Troy, and you know it. Remember the rules. No, it's essential that we establish the witness's alibi accurately. I agree. The victim was killed on December 3rd. Were you in the office that day too? Maybe you ain't listening. Of course I was. I never set foot outside. I had meetings all day with a bunch of cats wanting to do business with me. I ain't never seen that young kid before. I do believe the witness's last statement was important. Mr. Godo, if you could please. Mr. Tigre, the court asked you to add that last statement to your testimony. Don't let an animal beat you. Be a man, Your Honor, and ask him yourself. The day you was talking about, I was in the office too. I swear I never saw that kid before. Explain this. December 3rd, meet with the tiger. Bam! Mr. Tigre, you claim you didn't know Mr. Glenn Elg, but it appears that Mr. Elg knew you. What? Mr. Elg left a little note on his calendar. Meet with the tiger. And the date? December 3rd. December 3rd? That's the day of the murder. So, Mr. Tigre, I submit that you did indeed know one Glenn Elg, because on the very day of the incident, you met with him. Not bad. You was actually not bad. Sorry? I was just messing with you to see how good you were.
Did you hear that, Nick? He said you're not bad.
That's one compliment I can do without. Plus, he's lying through his teeth. Witness, please remember that you're under oath. Lies will not be tolerated. You was calling me a liar? Is that what you're doing? Uh-oh. So you're saying that you claim to have never seen that kid before is the truth? I said I'm dead serious. You better believe that's the truth. And I'd say that gives me time to enjoy another cup of pure black magic. More coffee. That is why you testify for the court again, Mr. Tigre. Oh yes, would you mind indulging the court witness? You never actually met the victim? That's gotta be a lie right there. It's time I nailed this guy. Okay. I ain't no liar. I ain't never met Glen Elk. There was some lame guy with that name, though. Wanted to borrow cash from me. I set up a meeting with that guy in my office, Tenderlander. I waited around for him, but he ain't never showed. I ain't never ever been to Trey Band joint. You hear? That wasn't perfectly logical. You had arranged to meet with the victim, but he didn't show up. I've heard it's pretty hard to keep appointments when you're dead. Very well. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Didn't I tell you I got a big deal going down today? I ain't gonna make my bus now. I'm gonna have to take the express train. That bill is going straight to you, right? Gah. That's only like, what, 20 bucks? I can pay you back, no problem. Oh? Advertising! Mr. Tigre, is there something you'd like to tell the court about these matches? Matches? What are you talking about? We found them in your office at Tenderlander. They're from that restaurant. What? If you've really never been to Trebian before, what was the book of restaurant matches doing on your desk? You've been snooping around in my stuff now too, wise guy. What are you, my ball and chain? Ain't no broad controlling me. Order, order! Well, witness, I think it's time you started telling us the truth, don't you? Yeah! Sorry, I am terribly sorry, forgive me. I ain't no pussycat, I don't go back on what I said. But okay, I was at that joint that day. What? But listen good, alright? I might have been there, but I still never met that kid. Well, well. Looks like an order just came in for another testimony. I'm this close to proving it was him. He did meet Glen Elk that day, and he did put poison in his coffee. He must have. I was supposed to meet with that kid at a restaurant this afternoon. When I opened the door to the joint, I saw one ugly scene. The guy was laid out on the table, stiff as concrete. I figured if the place wasn't hot already, it was gonna be, so I split. I heard the cop sirens on my way out, and I went straight back to my office. Wow, you ran. I see. You didn't actually meet with him in the end, then. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Hold it! If I wait around here any longer, I ain't even gonna make the normal express. No more stupid questions. Heh, no problem. Anytime Troy presses you on something irrelevant, all CE pays the penalty. Mr. Goto, that's my job! Your job is to slam that little hammer of yours and call a guilty verdict. So do it! Yes, sir. The Special Express ain't cheap, right? Just so you know, since you's paid. Oh, man. Don't the rules of law mean anything around here? Ugly scene. You're something of a loan-collecting pro, aren't you, Mr. Tigre? No one escapes the tiger's clutches. Well, I'm something of a lie-detecting pro. And no one escapes the Phoenix's clutches. I think it's time we got something straight. What's this, Trey? A new line of irrelevant questioning? These are the floor plans of the crime scene. You said you were standing at the entrance to the Tigre. From there, your field of vision would have covered an area some like this. Indeed, the witness would have had a clear view of the victim's seat. Isn't that what I just said? I saw the back of the kid's head. Unfortunately for you, that's not possible. If Nicole would think back, you'll remember that between each of the tables is a tall partition. Why, that's true. Now look at the plans again. The truth is painfully obvious. From the entrance, the field of vision of any customer walking in ends here. Ugh. So from the entrance at Trebian, you couldn't have seen the victim's seat. But you did see the victim that day because you met with him. Wrong. Have you forgotten the old man's testimony yesterday? The victim was alone at his table. But the defense just proved that point to be moot. The victim witnessed by Mr. Kudo was not Glenn Elk, but a fake. What? In order to have Mr. Kudo falsely testify, the real killer posed as a victim and just killed and acted out a charade. That will do. This trial has gone on long enough without the obvious question being answered. Who exactly was the real killer who impersonated the victim? You say the killer murdered Glenn Elk, and then impersonated the victim in a performance with Victor Kudo. In that case, Mr. Wright, reveal the identity of this criminal to the court. Furio Tigre. Obviously, the killer is Furio Tigre. No one else could have done it. What? Well, witness? Now that's cute. You think you could pin this on the tiger? Maybe you don't understand. The tiger is king of the jungle. So I dare you to say it again. Come on, you got the guts? You can't threaten me, Mr. Tigre. It's the defense. Go ahead and tell the witness, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright? Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You've got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, do not leave me to handle this alone. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Kudo! Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. The old man didn't just see the victim. Oh, no, no, no. The servant girl brought him a cappuccino, but she put something in it. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there. Was the victim he saw a real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. Yes, it was the waitress who poisoned the coffee. Very impressive, Mr. Goto. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Found your pen at last, Trite? It was in my pocket. But anyway, Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glenn Elk, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glenn Elk was really the killer in disguise, then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Oh, it had to have been her, right? Who is this woman? Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tender Lender. You was making a big mistake. Did you know who Violetta's grandfather is? You better be going home in an armored truck tonight, if you know what I mean.
Stop shaking, Nick!
Where was I? Yes, the defendant, Miss Bird, had stated the following.
Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of cackling laugh.
There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table was nobody but Mr. Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when the eardrum was ruptured, and a radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, one for real and one for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who committed a crime, is you! Witness, what have you got to say? That's cute. Sorry? You was alright. I could do with a guy like you around. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get to make my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about? You've got it all wrapped up nice, alright? But you've missed out one real important thing. But that can't be. I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. But I couldn't have poisoned him, you hear? What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? What a troublemaker. Troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. Glug, 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 glug. One more steaming cup of hot testimony. Indeed. Witness, you will explain yourself to the court. I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Trilogy between yourself and the victim? Yeah, I loaned out cash. About $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won! $500,000! He got lucky, you know? Real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over. Now I see that the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elg is $50,000. Yeah, well, he's got the VIG to take into account. Interest builds up fast, you know. That's faster and fast. 100 grand is twice his principal. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question. Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. His motive? He has to have one, but what is it? Could it be? Let's find out. Yeah, anyway, about a year, I want info. The waitress. You mean the girl with the glasses in the defendant chair? Who else could I mean? If she hadn't gotten away, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with. Maybe I should push a little more on this. What exactly are you implying the defendant did? How about you go ask Four Eyes about that $500,000 ticket? She wanted it so bad, she poisoned Elg's coffee. A likely theory. Your word hasn't held water lately, Mr. Tigre. Let's not forget this witness was actually at the crime scene, Troy. The law don't exactly agree with some of the details I set down. I couldn't be there when the cops show up, so I split. I see. Your Honor, the witness's last few statements are worth a good 2 cups of coffee. I concur, Mr. Goto. You will amend your testimony accordingly, witness. So that's what you say after Phoenix, right? Thanks to what she did, my business with that kid was over. Tiger's trying to pin a crumb on Maggie. If I ask him about what he saw, it's only going to damage our case. What do you mean things would have been over and done with? Oh, you's all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. Well, Mr. Wright, are you happy with the testimony, or would you like it amended? Have it amended. I'm not going to get anywhere with the testimony as it stands. Your Honor, the defense would like the testimony amended. Very well. Witness, you will amend your testimony to reflect your recent statements, please. I was after the $100,000. I didn't have no other reason to kill the guy. Well, guess what? That's nothing compared to this millions of dollar virus. Millions of dollars! Millions of dollars! I remember the primetime players. So you just intended to get back the 100 grand Mr. Elg owed you, correct? I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were really after. Where are you getting at, Trey? What else would a moneylender be after other than money? Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. What is that? A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I guess the beard isn't the only part of his honor that isn't from the Stone Age. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Several $1 million? What does that buy you? Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glenn Elg had no way to repay the money is crucial. What? Glenn Elg was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer.
That skill was a collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money.
Objection!
You're trying to suggest that Winnesley's motive was to get a hold of that program?
Exactly.
The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, Trite. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder.
Of course he could, provided he had the time. But what if he needed the money right then? When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. It seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tigre need money to the tune of $1 million? The medical papers, right? In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. Ugh! About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital where she underwent surgery. How much of this do you know? These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. And yet, when the payment was due last month, you somehow managed to pay it in full. $1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs.
Heh, no one would pay for a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue.
Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it.
Yeah!
Order! 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 You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright? Indeed it did. Simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini.
Did you say Cadaverini?
Bruno Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all the underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire that $1 million Bruno Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, you decided to sacrifice Glenn Elg's life to pay your debt. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on the CD. Glenn Elg had no way of paying back the $100 grand, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. That kind of Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened, but he can't, and neither can I.
The lottery win?
Exactly. At the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At least, no legitimate way. So he resorted to
Crazy.
He murdered Glenn Elg and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre poses Glenn Elg, while Viola played the role of Ms. Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo.
Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. For starters, there's no way the chef would have been kept in the dark about it.
But Mr. Armstrong was in on it from the very beginning. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godo? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan.
Order! Order! Silence or I will clear the car!
You was put on a good show, Spiky. If you want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone. If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. I ain't dumb enough to sue some sloppy like that. I agree. You do? Despite your appearance, you were very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out. What, another one, Mr. Wright?
Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite?
Oh, fuck, it's all on the line. What was the trick you say Mr. Tigray performed to frame the innocent? A paper badge. What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled by such a childish imitation. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigray, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in the question. A month ago in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here at this very court a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright to put up the most disrespectable, shabby defense I've ever seen. Gah! Can you prove that, Gramps? Prove the attorney who represented the accused here was a man this month ago? Are you prepared to take the stand and testify it was him? Hey, forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that. Not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir? This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Troy, here in court, we deal with people's lives. Nah. Mr. Odo is right. Your Honor, speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now. However, I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by memory without evidence to support it. No! If that defense is no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigray are dubious for sure, but not conclusive. But we've come so far! You say he impersonated Glenn Elg, you say he impersonated you, but none of this adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that a victim poisoned a witness's coffee. No! Heh. Sucks to be you, right? Don't mess with the tiger, or you're gonna get mauled. You got that? All we managed to do here was chase him around a bit. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Heh. Looks like I won't be needing a refill. If I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence, and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. This witness's cross-examination is over. You are free to go, Mr. Tigray. Hold it! Your Honor, sir? Ah! Wait! Detective Gumshoe! Sorry it took so long, pal. I staked everything on this. My badge, the works. So here it is. My heart's counting on this, too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence. What? January 8th. Hey! Sorry it took so long, pal, but I finally got the results from the lab. Results? About the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle. Oh, so? Do you know who the prints belong to? Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know. So, tell us. If the tiger's right, I knew it. You bet. Clear as crystal, all over the bottle. They're Furio Tigray's paw prints, all right. That's great. You got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? Your hardest set of words is Detective Gumshoe guy here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on the bottle now. Huh? What? Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glenn Elg's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. I knew it. Great. No matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use. Don't be so hard on yourself. This was our last chance to help Maggie. And I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright. I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. Detective Gumshoe? Maggie! You've been working on something for me?
Sorry I let you down, Maggie. I knew you didn't do it. And I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now.
Detective Gumshoe, wait!
He's gone.
Is there anything we can do now, Nick?
I wish there was. Gumshoe's worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it.
Hey, I'm still here. What's the big idea?
Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I grant you a recess so you can prepare this decisive evidence you discovered. Yes. Don't keep us on suspense. Try to show us. Naturally, we can assume it's evidence that will actually stand up in court. Can't we? Think, Phoenix. Don't let Gumshoe's work go to waste.
How much more of my time he's gonna waste? I ain't been in no court before, but you lawyers sure know how to blow things out of proportion.
No doubt, given the nature of the evidence, it will speak for itself. Nevertheless, you will talk us through it, Mr. Wright. Well, I know I can't prove anything new with this evidence. I'm really hacked into a corner here. Maybe if he thinks he's got me beat, he'll let his guard down a bit. Don't keep us waiting any longer, Mr. Wright. Present his final decisive piece of evidence to the court. This is the defense's final piece of evidence. Isn't that the victim's? Your Honor? Naturally, the court is already aware of the contents of this bottle. However, interestingly, new information has come to light. We have clearly identified some fingerprints on it. Fingerprints belonging to you, Mr. Tigre.
What?
But, Mr. Wright, what conclusion are you hoping to draw from this new information? Everyone here knows the bottle contains. Except one man. One person in this room should theoretically be in the dark.
My prints are on that pansy-looking bottle? Is that what you're saying? Well, what the hell was in it anyway?
Phony trial, a phony lawyer, and phony clues. Everything about this case has been phony. This is the perfect excuse for some phony evidence. Mr. Tigre, this is a decisive piece of evidence that will prove your guilt. Why? Because it contains potassium cyanide. This bottle contains potassium cyanide.
Potassium cyanide?
The poison used to murder Mr. Elg, Your Honor. The victim's killer used this very bottle. And on this bottle, Mr. Tigre, we found your prints. Well, how do you explain that? You'd make a good clown, you know that? What? You ain't never gonna get this to stick. You're just making me laugh now. You think a cheap bluff like that's gonna fool the tiger? A bluff? I can see straight through you, Phoenix, right? That ain't the bottle with the cyanide in it. No. This is the bottle we found traces of the poison in. Don't mess with the tiger or you're gonna get ripped to shreds. The cyanide bottle was brown and it was made of glass. That cheap piece of trash don't look nothing like it. Got him. At last. What? Why has everyone gone quiet? I said that bottle. Is this the bottle you're referring to? Yeah, that's it. That's the bottle the cyanide was in. But you think you're never going to find my prints on that bottle? Don't let that cozy-looking suit fool you people. That lawyer's just playing games. Tell him, Mr. Prosecutor. Tell him the guy where you go. You still haven't figured it out? Don't you realize what you just said? What I said? What'd I just say? You were summoned to this court for the first time earlier today. If you really had nothing to do with the murder, you shouldn't have known all the little details. For instance, you shouldn't have known what kind of bottle the potassium cyanide was in. But just now you slipped up in front of every single person in the courtroom. You described the exact bottle used by the killer to hold the poison. You don't know who you's messing with. I'm the tiger. I control millions of dollars on the black market. You think I'm gonna let some jumped up suit get the better of me? Sure, that last piece of evidence was phony. But that's just what you deserve.
A phony trial with a phony lawyer. It was all planned out by you, the biggest phony of all.
Turn out the lights? What's going on? It looks like a blackout. Well done. Tried. I saved my 17th cup of coffee just for you. Savor it. While you watch the police restrain your prey. Mr. Right, you've caught a tiger by his toe, but if this one hollers, he won't be let go. Now then, how are things going with Mr. Tigre, Mr. Godot? He's in being arrested of suspicion of the murder of Glen Elg, Your Honor. Fortunately for us, we managed to rectify a very grave error. Miss Bird was found guilty in the absence of a genuine defense attorney. Yes, she was. And in the absence of genuine evidence, the tiger made one mistake. Indeed. He very nearly got away with everything if it wasn't for that one slip of the tongue. Furio Tigre is a truly frightening criminal. Heh, the truly frightening one is that defense attorney over there. Godot. Well, I'm now in a position to deliver my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Maggie Bird, not guilty. Hey, confetti! Woo! That is all. This court is adjourned. 4:10 p.m.
Mr. Wright, I'm now lost for words. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, Maggie. I'm so mad at Mr. Wright landed me in all that trouble a month ago, but now I feel like I can forgive him.
Hey, that wasn't me, Maggie. That was the tiger.
Look, Nick, in the doorway.
Detective Gumshoe. Oh, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around, pal. Wait! Here I come, pal.
Detective Gumshoe.
Yeah. Congratulations, Maggie.
Thanks.
I knew you were innocent all along.
Why didn't you say that in your testimony then?
Huh? Oh. Well, I was... Well, guess I'll be heading off then. See you around. Wait up, detective. He just ran off.
Maggie, why are you being so hard on him? He busted his butt for you. It's thanks to him that he got his medication bottle. That wasn't even of any use. But it's only because Mr. Wright used it so cleverly. Detective Gumshoe was just running around in circles.
Poor guy. Looks like she still isn't ready to forgive him.
Can't you put in a good word for him, Nick?
Yeah, Maya's right. I'll shove Gumshoe if he needs it. Maggie? You know, Detective Gumshoe's been really worried about you through all of this.
I wanted to believe that, sir. But on that first day of the trial, he practically gave the judge a free pass to lock me up.
He didn't have any choice, Maggie. He's a detective. He has to report the facts.
He doubted me, that's why. He thought I might have done it.
I've got to prove to her that Gumshoe really cares about her. Lunchbox? Please, Lunchbox? Give me Lunchbox. I know. I'll give her a little present to celebrate her freedom. Lunchbox! Here you are. A present to celebrate your freedom.
That's
a present from Detective Gumshoe, made with a ton of love.
He said you lost weight and he was worried about you. Detective Gumshoe? I actually really like weenies, you know. Did you guys hear that? I'm pretty hungry myself, you know.
Yeah, the trials dragged on a bit today, didn't it?
Is it okay if I eat this now? So, how is it, Maggie? It's really good.
So the case of phony versus genuine comes to an end. The false allegations surrounding Maggie have been cleared up, and who knows,
Maybe a whole new chapter of her life is about to start. And she ate everything. And that's the end of the recipe for Turnabout. Only 2 episodes to go, and then I'm done with the Ace Attorney trilogy. Now go to episode 4, Turnabout Beginnings, which looks like another flashback episode. So, thank you for watching. Sky/Mike signing off. If you venture to a casino, don't deal with the devil. See you guys later.